Hello and welcome to episode 193 of First Geek 411. This week, we got fun facts, fishing, CES, and speedrunning. And then we're going to count down our top three breakfast foods. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and with me, as always, from the Great White North, Shanine Thompson. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's very great and white today.
How is your return of Spooktober going?
Great. I got The Haunting out of the library. I haven't watched it yet, but it is like the 90s movie of The Haunting on Hill House. And it has Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I'm expecting it to be terrible.
Yep.
I'm very excited.
That sounds like the good kind of awful.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Then the filmmaker herself, Emma, how are you doing?
Heyo. Pretty good. No complaints. Had a day off. So I just chilled. Hung out. Did some things.
Then making his return, the First Geek 411, my best man, Chris Nicolay. Chris, how you doing today?
Hello, it is good to be back. It's been crazy, but
And we've missed you.
I know. I'm sorry. I missed you guys too. Ready for some normalcy?
Listeners, as always, you can hit us up on our social media as OneGeek411. You can join our Discord server, shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can also check out our Twitch Monday nights, 6:45 Mountain Time, to be part of the post-show chats. And you can also find the videos on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're there, you can watch Shanine's full playthrough of King's Quest. So,
Woohoo!
that all went up over the weekend. So shout out to Shanine. And then you can find us on podcast services around the globe and check out our Redbubble store. So we're going to catch up on what we have been up to. Chris, why don't you kick us off?
A little bit of everything. No. Actually not much of anything. I did finally watch The Eternals.
What do you think?
It was fine. Yeah. I don't know. I've been having a harder time enjoying a lot of the MCU lately. And I don't know why, but yeah, it is enjoyable, but I feel like I'm like overly critical now of anything they do. I'm just like, okay, that was a choice. That was a decision. Since I have been on, I've also seen Spider-Man. Just throwing it out there. I did go see that in theaters opening weekend.
I can definitely see how that would ruin Eternals for you. Goodbye. Direct Eternals.
Hard to beat that movie.
I honestly, I don't think Spider-Man was the best, but
I've never punched a man before.
again, they made decisions, and I'm just like, okay.
Suppose.
I suppose that's a thing you could do. But other than that, as always, my big hype is Ranking of Kings. I think it's 13 episodes currently, and it is so good still. Definitely quickly becoming like my number one anime of all time, and I will always hype that show right now because Prince Boji is best boy, and if you can't get behind Prince Boji, you probably don't have a soul.
How many kings are there? And what is the scale on which they are being ranked?
That is a very good question, and I don't think it's been completely addressed yet. Like they allude to it and the ranking system and everything. Currently, we are aware of 3 kings. Yeah, but it's not the point.
I mean,
Prince Boji is where it's at. It's all we care about in the show.
Classic anime trope. The title of it either exactly describes what's going on,
has nothing to do with
a
it.
super meta depiction of it. And so
Like I
I was
feel like
partially expecting you to be like, there's no kings. No one is being
oh,
ranked.
no one's actually being ranked. Like I feel like it's probably something that's more addressed in the manga. But I also wouldn't know yet. Although I am very much considering diving deep into the manga for this just because it is that good. But we'll see. More than likely I will. Like so good. I can't even explain it. It's like if you like a good underdog story, this is for you. If you like fantasy tropes, like evil stepmothers that you actually end up falling in love with because you get their backstory a little bit. Like they're not actually evil; they're just playing a
Just
political game.
misunderstood.
Misunderstood, yeah.
Yeah, they're really not actually. She's actually really great. Queen Hyling is turns out to be amazing. It's like you can't make assessments on any of the characters when you first come across them because they always do something shocking. So get on it, everyone. Like drop whatever anime you were watching and watch Ranking of Kings.
Take that, Shanine's what you've been up to.
Right.
And also like the first like I think the dub is up to like episode 7 currently. I think it's only maybe. I don't know. It's pretty far as well. It's also it's dubbed. So no excuses, Cameron.
What is it on?
Oh, maybe that's an excuse.
Yeah, but that's literally the most expensive.
It's on Funimation,
Which I do not have.
but I do.
That is the deciding factor.
So good. I've also because I've been house sitting a lot, I picked up Trials of Mana for the Switch, and I've been playing that. It's a lot more linear than I was expecting for a story. But I think it's a solid return to the Mana universe with Square.
This is
It's
the
enjoyable.
reboot, right? Or remake.
I think so, maybe. I don't know. It feels like its own game, and I'm not sure if it is a remake. I don't recall playing this story, and it's really weird because I think there's 6 characters, but you pick your party at the beginning, the 3 that you want to play, primary ones. Like you kind of play all their stories, but I don't know. It's kind of one of like Square's little thing with like Octopath. You kind of play through their individual stories, but like you pick your main one too, and that's the main story you're gonna play. So I think there's some replayability here, but I'm not sure how it's gonna work. But yeah, it's good so far. And of course, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, just kind of grinding here and there, trying to level up some alternate classes, and make some gil. I've been doing a lot of gil farming. I'm pretty rich in the game right now, and there's no hope of me ever buying a house because I don't have that much time on my hands. So the gil's just gonna sit there. Also, I'm not as rich as other people. There's some rich people in this game,
Just like real life.
right? But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, just been busy and running around a lot. I'm happy to be back. That's all. Okay, move on.
Shanine, what about you?
All right. I guess speaking of animes that I'm going to stop watching now, we started Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, we watched Full Metal Alchemist, I don't know, last year? Sometime. Recently-ish. And started Brotherhood now. And apparently there's a lot that I do not remember from Full Metal Alchemist. My husband is like, notice this reference to this thing. And I'm like, yes, I totally remembered that. So I definitely noticed it. No.
The narrator voice. She did not notice that.
Yeah, that's how that went. But yeah, so far so good. And then there were some things I did remember, and now I'm just very anxious.
You're like, oh.
I'm
It's like, I
"Oh,
already
no."
know the general arc.
Like, I can't go through that again.
Not again. I mean, yeah, there are some traumatizing moments in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep.
And it's always too
confirm.
soon. It's always too soon.
Yep.
Yep. It's making these like beginning happy episodes like really painful. Um, it'll be fine.
Will it though?
Everything's fine.
Will it really?
Oh, we can
Exactly.
pretend for a little while. Maybe it will be different this time.
I mean, they're different, but they're not that different.
Let me have this, Chris.
Oh, no, they're completely different, Shane.
Okay, good.
It's definitely not the most closely tied episode between the series.
Okay. Anyways.
Except for this one has a happy ending.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Now I'm gonna get that message. You lied.
No. It'll be fine. Anyways, I finished King's Quest, so I started streaming Spiritfarer last Tuesday. And it is delightful. There's probably going to be a high chance of some surprise streams throughout the week now on not Tuesdays because I want to play it more. And now I'm like, oh no, I have to
I
stream
picked it for my stream game.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Big mistake. Huge.
It is
Yeah,
a delightful game.
It's so cute and it's so fun and it's so chill and it's everything I've ever wanted in a game.
I love the hat. I think the hat is one of my favorite things of the entire game.
It's adorable.
It's just like it's there. And it's
And-
delightful.
One of the spirits already complimented me on my hat and I'm just
Yeah.
like, thank you for noticing.
I love that game so much. It's delightful.
It is. And in other chill, delightful video game news, I've been playing some more Animal Crossing, trying to get all of my critters, and I finally caught a tuna last night. So,
Okay. So we were talking about this before you got here.
okay.
What makes the tuna so special?
It's just rare-ish. Like I didn't catch it in my first like year of playing, and it took me probably about 50 fish baits to finally catch it.
I got
And also one of the BTS members has a really adorable song about catching the tuna. So there's also that.
Saw a photo of that once and not being a BTS person, I was trying to figure out what the big deal about it was.
It's just cute. That's all.
There you go.
I was just curious. Like as again, as someone who like doesn't play, I was like, oh, what's going on with the tuna?
I thought since I'm house sitting about jumping back into Animal Crossing, that I'm like, it's too much. It's too much.
There is a lot.
Especially with the expansions and stuff. And then I'm like, do I buy the DLC? And then I'm going to be like, yes, buy the DLC. And I'm never going to get into it.
I know. I'm still debating the DLC.
Pretty fun. I feel like the whole like house designing aspect of it. If not, then
Like I do, but also there's so many micro decisions, so it's less chill than you would expect it to be.
Right? And then I'm like,
There you go.
there's enough things coming out that I need to get because Pokemon comes out this month. Or Arceus Origin or whatever. Comes out this month. And I'm like, so get into Animal Crossing again just to drop it as soon as this game launches.
Emma, what have you been up to?
Let's see. I had one class last week, so life has been pretty chill. Um, we did our test run filming yesterday with our whole group. There's 8 of us. 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 or 8 of us on the team, which is considerably more peaceful than last semester's filming. Um, and it all went relatively well. It was, I mean, us sound department people had a bit of a chaotic time with matching the sound to the camera, but that's what the test weekend is for. So in my not school time, as we all know, Critical Role has been my entire personality for the past like month. It's been my major hyper focus. So I've been watching more of that while puzzling.
Puzzling.
I have a puzzle going on as I knock my wine glass over in the background on our coffee table that I've been doing. It's of a bear laying in a field looking up at flowers and butterflies and stuff. So I've been doing that. Well, that's been very fun. And I've also been playing some Pokemon Brilliant Diamond because that's like the first game I ever played in my entire life, video game wise. Well, like Pokemon as a whole. And I've been enjoying it for the most part. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as last week, aside from heading class into that. So yeah.
What's your take on, as somebody who like came in with campaign 3 and is now jumping back to campaign 1? What's your vibe?
I mean, the thing is they both have a lot of the same feel to them because it's pretty much the same group of people. I mean, campaign 1 has a couple of variances in terms of cast, but it's a lot of the same, like humor and like personalities, just with like different characters and different personality in the sense of the characters. I think each, like the 2 of them, have their own charms to them. Like obviously in campaign 3 you have Fresh Cut Grass, who's this little robot who just doesn't understand the basics of human interaction or whatever. He's just like, oh, like I want to see what a date looks like. Whereas Sam's character in campaign 1 is the complete opposite of that. As a bard. So I think it's just enjoyable to see the actors take on these completely different roles in the exact same context. So I don't think one is infinitely better than the other. Really, the biggest thing is just there's more production value in campaign 3.
See the difference.
Yeah, like that's the one big thing is campaign 3 has better production value, whereas campaign 1 is just like, they were just starting off.
Some of the sound quality has made
Yeah,
some of
I
the
know.
episodes like so hard.
Yeah.
And like I want this, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's why I've been like, with like campaign 3 I'll sit down and like actually watch it, but campaign 1 I'll play while I'm doing the puzzle because I'm like, you know what, like I want to watch this, but I can't pay full attention because the sound is driving me nuts, especially as a film person where like sound is everything. But like I'm still enjoying it. I'm on episode 10 now of campaign 1. I'm like halfway through it, which, like, for reference, I started campaign 1 last weekend. So I'm like running through it for 4-hour episodes, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want more of Trinket the bear. So yeah, that's my life.
So for me, the short version is I've done basically the exact same thing as last week. So I've been playing more Pathfinder Kingmaker. I'm at like 60 hours in it. I streamed some of that on Sunday. And then when I haven't been playing that, I've been playing Scarlet Nexus, which has gone full anime. Every time I think it's about to end, it gets more anime than it previously was. Um, and so I think I'm finally almost at the end of the first story. And so we'll see what happens, and when I'll go back and play the other half, because it is like two parallel stories that like have like connection points but run tangentially to each other. So, um, and then Deanna and I have continued to do Cameron plus Deanna. We played some more Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and she's done some more Jurassic World. Um, and we beat our first boss in Gloomhaven, so that was hype. We did not die because we've never died in any mission of Gloomhaven. So, and then outside of that, we went over to my in-laws' very cool theater room and watched Dune this weekend, and it was everything I wanted it to be. Um, they have, I think it's Dolby Atmos, which is like 3D audio stuff, and it's fantastic. And yeah, I'm super happy that we went and watched there. Um, and
I saw the
then
picture of that home theater, and I was like, I'm jealous. That's what I want. I want one of those.
yeah, so we had originally got them the screen for Christmas a couple years ago, and then first world problem, the screen that we got them was too small, so they had to return it for a bigger screen for their projector. So it's pretty great. Um, it's definitely an awesome place to watch movies, especially like as much as I love the Dune movie, I was really happy to watch it there. And then also started playing Wordle.
Yeah.
I know a lot of us in the Discord have got into it recently, and I know like I've seen people talk about it, and then Shanine had posted a link to like the official Wordle, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And so I got pulled in from a Twitter convo. I'm not good at words. Like there was one I had 4 out of the 5 letters after my second guess, and I could not think of a painfully obvious word that used all 4 of them. I'm just hanging out. Here I am. So, but yeah, so that's what I have been up to. Listeners, hit us up. Let us know what you've been up to. And let's get into our discussion topics.
40. What is Wordle?
Wordle? Did you ever play the board game Mastermind? Which is like a code guessing game. So the idea of Wordle is that every day there's a 5-letter word that you're trying to guess in as few attempts as possible.
You know that mini game that's in a lot of like games where you have to guess the password, and it'll tell you this is the right letter in the wrong spot or the right letter in the right spot, or this letter just doesn't count or isn't in the password.
Interesting.
I know it's a big one in Fallout 3.
It's essentially that.
Yeah.
Where you have to guess the 5-letter word in 6 guesses or less. The basic format of it is seen in, it's essentially that guess the password.
Yeah. It's one of those games that by no means does anything remotely new, but man, it's engaging.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those that's like it's a very simple idea, but I think part of it is because you can only do one a day.
Yeah.
And so it's just very easy, and it's the same word for everyone. So there's like this camaraderie around trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And then it also gives you cool,
That's
it tracks how well you do, and then it also gives you your like a picture to post. And so I'm gonna be honest, understanding what the pictures mean is part of why I started playing Wordle.
Yeah,
I was just very
Same here.
confused to what it meant and needed to figure
but when they started popping up, I was very curious.
Yes.
I was like, but what does it mean?
Let's get into our discussion topics. Chris, take it away.
So technically this has happened a couple weeks ago because that's how the year starts in terms of tech news. so the Consumer Electronics Show did take place in Vegas. Although, and they did return to in person for the most part, but like the big names still just did remote keynotes, which is fine. But it is one of the better CSs that I did kind of watch the news progress along for. A lot less what they call vaporware, which is just kind of hype tech that will never make it to market. But a lot of e-cars, electronic vehicles, like Sony last year announced the start of their new car platform. And this year we got more information about it. It's like Sony Mobility is the name of the branch. Super weird. But the implications are, if Sony makes an an EV that is self-driving, odds are it's gonna have a built-in PlayStation in it. So I am very pro this.
Still easier to find than a PlayStation 5.
Exactly. It's like
Seriously.
It's like, is there a way to, like, when it's parked in the garage, to stream this to the TV inside? Because I haven't gotten a real console yet. No, I have, but which is kind of cool. We saw a entire vehicle. BMW showed an entire vehicle covered in e-ink. So e-ink is the technology behind Kindles. Essentially, it is a pigmented fluid. It's black and white, and then it changes color based on current. And the entire car is covered in this, so it shifts between black and white, and you can kind of set up custom things, possibly read off it, maybe. I don't know what their plan is. Or this is ultimately probably going to be something that is vaporware. Cool in concept, but not feasible for actual production.
Yeah.
But it is super cool, and I would honestly, if a vehicle is ever made with this, I would consider buying it. If I ever had enough money, which I probably never would because it's BMW.
The other part.
Right. Razer did return with their Project Hazel, kinda, or they've been producing their Project Hazel, which is their Zephyr mask.
Their RGB.
Their RGB.
Yeah.
Air purifier mask. And originally when they debuted it as Project Hazel, it was something that was like, oh, this is like, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of cool. It's perfect timing, But by the time it was going to be in production and out, we were hopefully going to be out of our current mess. Which, fortunately for them, because they did produce it, we are not. But it has RGB, but they are officially showing it, releasing it with all of the original features, including the mic and external speakers. So people can hear you, because it is a sealed system, so it is hard to talk to people when you're wearing their mask. Should be inconvenient. But, so they added the mic and external speakers, and RGB remains, because why not?
And it's definitely not an N95 mask.
And it is definitely not $200. Yeah. We are seeing a new... We did not see any 8K TVs.
Or was the whole thing an 8K TV?
The whole thing was an 8K TV.
Real question there.
The new kind of technology piece coming out is quantum dot OLEDs. And what that means is they're using quantum dots instead of filters on the OLED TVs, which does allow them to increase their brightness, which means you get more HDR features. That's all you need to know when it comes to that. Sony's the first one kind of coming to market with them, and Sony's always expensive when it comes to TVs. So expect to pay handsomely. They are using Samsung. It was Samsung's panels, though, that are the first to actually use the technology. But yeah, also TVs are coming with NFT markets
Of
because
course,
Oh.
we can't have nice things.
that is kind of a new thing, and I hope this is only a one-off. Much like certain things,
I
like
hope it's just a phase.
I hope it's just a phase.
I hope
I
it
don't
really...
need an NFT marketplace on my TV. Thank you very much.
No.
Fortunately, I just upgraded my TV, so I won't be upgrading for a while. But stop it.
The funny thing is, considering we book clubbed Ready Player One, I'm raising my hands for the people so that I can remember to add the tag here for Ready Player One. Thank you, Emma.
Assisting.
It's probably been about 10 seconds, so I'll probably catch it. Okay.
Assisting.
So the funny thing with all of that is like this is literally the premise of how they make money in Ready Player One. Is it's like we're gonna sell digital real estate, it's infinite, and we'll just charge people a bunch for it.
So yeah, there's multiple things that are happening that are very similar to Ready Player One. So obviously we have Facebook moving to their Meta project. And then with the emergence of NFTs, certain things are valuable. Like the Macy's Parade this year was NFT'd, apparently. So you could buy NFTs of the individual floats or something, or the balloons, the big balloons. I don't know. How do they even determine what the value of that is? It's annoying.
Who knows?
But if you put that on a piece of cardboard and put it in Magic, I'd buy it.
Right?
I would snap play the Snoopy float as a secret layer in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, but you're not the only one that can own it, though.
True.
It's just a rare piece or one-off, and that's cool. Like that, yeah, I'm okay with that, but because Magic's been doing it forever. But I'm mostly worried that Magic might NFT their art.
Thankfully, the artists own the ability to distribute art.
Exactly.
At least there's that.
But yeah, I am not looking forward to having an NFT pop up on my TV like randomly if I'm watching something specific. It's like, oh, by the way, this NFT is available. Do you want to buy it? It's like, no, quit interrupting my show. Got enough ads on YouTube. But yeah, NFTs are a weird, confusing piece related to crypto that no one understands, but everyone's hyped about or getting in on.
Everyone?
So many people are. Many people.
You're either one of two sides.
I just download
You're either
JPEG
all
GIFs.
in
Two
or
schools
all
of thought.
out.
It's weird when the major banks start getting into it. I think the major banks are like, we missed out on early crypto, so we're jumping right in on this. But NVIDIA spent most of their keynote talking about NVIDIA Drive instead of like new technology like GPU and distribution. They announced the 3090 Ti when it comes to graphics cards. No one's going to be able to get because of the chip shortage. So they focused on their development of NVIDIA Drive, which is going to be their self-driving platform, not for their own vehicles that they will sell and might be installed in other vehicles. Although it has its own AI, like AI assistant for it. It was a really, really weird keynote because they spent so much time on that, but apparently it's an entire aspect of NVIDIA now, which means NVIDIA as a whole might be kind of pivoting. Who knows? Which I'd be kind of sad about, but we'll see what they do. Hopefully graphic card production gets bumped up so we can, for those looking at building computers in the next few years, can do so. Samsung did debut a giant curved monitor that has the ability to go into, and you may have seen some of these pictures, has the ability to be done in portrait mode. And it's like a 49-inch monitor. It is huge. So in portrait mode, it goes up and it curves up over your head. So it has so the pictures we saw and what we saw from Samsung is someone sitting in their desk with it, and they're just looking up. Because that's where like part of the screen is. Like you have to like lean
That would
back.
hurt your neck so much.
Yeah.
But can you imagine having multiple of these?
I mean, I can dream, but
It's like I'm gonna sit in a pod that
This
is
is the
all
guy with
screen.
the desktop computer while I'm on a laptop. You know,
you gotta believe him. Gotta believe him.
one day at a time.
But yeah, AMD came out and kind of further addressed their current production line and their new laptop chips, very standard AMD stuff. But also super nice and refreshing is that it was just a traditional kind of keynote about the next couple years for AMD and their production of chipsets, unlike Intel and NVIDIA, which are focused on weird things currently. But yeah, that's mostly CS. Oh, and Black & Decker did come out with a $300 beverage Keurig thing.
But can you play Skyrim on it?
Probably.
The real question. So. Shanine, what do you got for us?
Okay, so as I mentioned, I've been doing a lot of Animal Crossing fishing right now, which involves like hours of digging up fish bait and then hours of throwing that bait into the water and hoping that the right fish shows up. And then that fish slipping off my hook and having to start all over again.
I just wish the initial fish bait clam things stacked. That's my biggest gripe about that whole thing is that the initial things don't stack.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
you
it's annoying.
should do is you should pick up Final Fantasy 14 and get the subclass Fisher and go around trying to fish everything on that list.
Chris, your sales pitch is terrible.
No. That sounds bad.
It's actually really easy. I don't know. Actually, I haven't picked up that class yet, but like there's entire guides, but like it's not as much up to RNG as it is in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
You're not as disappointed if you pull up a sea bass.
Oh,
All the sea bass.
I caught so many.
All of
sea
it.
bass
So
yesterday.
many sea bass.
We hate the sea bass.
It's like the shadow was
caught,
right,
like-
the bait was right, the weather was right, and it was still a sea bass.
Yeah, I caught like 7 fish,
Oh, I hear you.
and like 6 of them were sea bass.
The worst.
But anyways, what's something in a video game that you have spent way too much time on?
Dodging lightning 200 times in Final Fantasy X.
I mean, the entirety of Animal Crossing New Horizons. But I had a specific answer for this, but I can't remember what it was.
Think also from Final Fantasy X. Mine's Blitzball.
Also spent a lot of time in
Oh,
Blitzball, but
And then it's also anything that lets me like manage a kingdom. Like if like this is why I like Pathfinder Kingmaker is like since you're the baron of this kingdom, you're like able to set your advisors up to do tasks and man, I'm ready. Like that's my favorite mini game right there.
you played Nino
spent a
Kuni
lot
too,
of
didn't you, for a little bit?
time.
And the building of the kingdom part of that game is objectively better than the rest of the game.
And it hits fat. You get it early.
Yeah.
A lot earlier than you'd think in that storyline. And then
The story and action of that game is indeed a game.
easy to get distracted.
But the kingdom builder part of it, that's where it's at. That's actually why I finished the game, was for the kingdom building stuff.
I remember I spent a lot of time. I think it was in Pokemon Emerald. It was the post game where there's like ruins in one of the desert with the language you had to decipher. I spent a lot of time deciphering that to get the mystical Pokemon or whatever as a kid, because that was exciting to me for whatever reason.
And isn't it crazy how, like, as an adult, that's probably like a 10-minute thing.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it took so long.
It took forever. But now it's like, oh yeah, okay, you know, whatever. Like easy peasy.
It's like there's 3 guesses. I'll just guess 3 times. Like it'll be fun.
Yep.
Like, but as a kid, it's like I gotta figure it out.
But now, kind of like Cameron, for me, it's base building in Subnautica, because, like, specifically, base building in that game is so fun for me for whatever reason. It's just like thrilling because you've got a practical sense to it.
Emma?
Maybe fishing. Actually, one more thing: fishing in Stardew, which is a pain in the butt.
Did spend a lot of time fishing in Final Fantasy 15.
Fishing in Stardew is more of a pain than it is in Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Avoided Ice in chat says Stardew Valley fishing is challenging too, but at least it levels and gets easier.
Yeah. But the initial few levels, it's just like insane how difficult it is. So you have to really work to make it easier.
And I have a hot take.
Hot take?
Fishing is one of the most boring things to do in real life. Why are they putting such boring things in video games?
So that you don't have to put the game down when you need a break. So you go fishing in the game.
Just put fun things in games. Like,
I spent a lot of time jumping rope in Final Fantasy 9.
Okay, but I'll say there, jumping rope is more fun than fishing. Yeah, people can at me on that.
And I also spent a lot of time in the jump rope minigame in Mario Odyssey. I needed those numbers.
Got to pump them up. Those are rookie numbers. Emma, what do you got for us?
Well, today, as many people know, is Betty White's 100th birthday. Happy birthday to the late grandma of America. We miss you. So just gonna put that down in note. As January 17th.
Except for all the conspiracy theories that have been out in force since her passing.
You know, that's why they're called conspiracy theories.
Except for there's too big of a percentage of our population that believes them.
I know. It's very sad. And then my fun fact, question mark in parentheses, for the week, is that Andrew Garfield even lied to Emma Stone about being in the new Spider-Man movie. And they were like, she kept texting him, begging him to tell her if he was or not. And he didn't tell her. And then when she finally went to see it, she was just like, I hate you now. But that's just my little fun fact. As the two who played side by side in their version of Spider-Man, he was just like, I'm not even going to tell you. Like, we may have dated for 5 years and seemed to be on good terms post breakup. I'm still not going to tell you whether or not I'm in the movie.
I feel like that'd be so much better.
Yeah. So there's my little fun interaction thing, I suppose. It's not super newsworthy, but,
it's fun.
It's fun.
I saw, I think it was either a TikTok or somebody had posted a TikTok to Reddit or something about Andrew Garfield deserving an Oscar for how well he dodges questions about Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield.
Complete contrast to our current Spider-Man.
Right.
Better at lying than Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Which was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Better at lying than Tom Holland.
That can't be shown scripts, otherwise they will leak. And
Tom Holland, given fake scripts.
Right.
Andrew Garfield lies to his closest friends, you know?
So, like And even the reveal of Spider-Man No Way Home is a joke about how bad he is at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a meme about how bad. And then, yeah, Garfield's out here doing press for another thing, having to dodge these questions like a boss. Also, everyone go see Tick Tick Boom.
Yes.
Go see.
I've
Is it
heard.
in theaters?
It's on
Well,
Netflix.
I was like, I watched it on Netflix, but
But you should go see it on your couch.
Move from your desk to your couch to watch this movie.
So for me, this past week was Awesome Games Done Quick 2022. So shout out to that organization. They broke their record by raising $3.4 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Officially the most ever raised at a Games Done Quick, and they hit $1 million faster than any previous year. So a shout out to the runners, hosts, commentators, everyone who watched. As someone who like has not donated but really enjoys being a voice and getting to hang out and watch that content and promote it in a sense, like it's awesome. Did any of y'all watch GDQ this year?
No.
Emma, I will say there is like a 40-minute speed run of Subnautica. So I'll post it in the Discord.
Please. I want to see how they do it.
And so have any of y'all ever watched speed run content in the past?
yeah. And I've tried watching speedruns of like Final Fantasy games, and it hurts my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are some of the most impressive things that people like retain in their heads, and also reactions and like perfect timing from game run, because it's based on game run time. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I have not. I prefer the more casual playthroughs of like, people commentating and just like giving their thoughts and poking around, partially because that's what I like to do. And playthroughs in general, I typically watch because I'm like, I don't know if I should buy them, like spend the money to get this game or not. So I'm gonna watch someone play it casually to see if I would want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna watch someone run the heck through it. But like, if it's a game that I've played, like Subnautica, that I love, and I'm like, there is the occasion for sometimes where I'm like, I'm genuinely curious to see how you would pull this off in as quick a fashion as possible.
Yeah. I don't care about like as much of modern games. It's mostly like seeing like people exploit old games and the old exploits.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. It's crazy.
I don't think I've watched like a full game, but I've definitely seen clips and stuff. I feel like it was Ocarina of Time. A lot of like, huh, huh,
Mm-hmm.
huh.
Yeah.
Zelda
Roll
speedruns are my
somersaults.
favorites.
It's faster to roll.
Yes.
So much.
And I like guessing how fast people could go through games. It makes me sick.
One of
Right.
my favorites is whenever it's like, okay, this is going to be really hard. And it's just them like jumping onto a ledge. And like the crowd goes wild, but it's the like, you shouldn't have been able to do that. And so.
Where it requires like
Yeah,
split
pixel
second.
perfect.
Yep.
Um,
Like yeah, again, it hurts my brain just thinking like they know like their muscle memory and memorization of things is just like frame by frame. That's at least 30 to 60 frames per second.
So then, as a follow up, if you were going to dedicate the time to speedrun a game, what game would you want it to be? Or what type of game would you want it to be? For me, I feel weird saying this because most of the games I would want to speedrun are games I wouldn't find interesting enough to play. or like there are games that's like I just didn't really get into, but it's a lot of like the action games, so like the Bloodborne, Dark Souls, that style, or things like um, Returnal was one I was watching today. I was watching the VOD for. It's like that looked really cool, but it didn't really stick with me. And I said on the cast like Metroid Dread kind of hit that itch for me, where I was like, oh, I could see myself wanting to try to speed run this, and then I never played it again. So after beating it, but
Really?
here we are. But um, but yeah, what would it be for y'all?
I think for me, the very obvious answer here, but Horizon Zero Dawn, again, I will talk about this game until I die. But I think in terms of like technical playthroughs and like speed runs, I'm pretty confident in my capabilities to play that game, and like I understand the fighting mechanisms well enough that I feel like I could get through a speed run um, pretty well and not have it be super difficult, like super challenging, um, like a good level of challenge, but still like not the worst.
Fastest playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn is 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that tracks.
Just throwing it out
Yeah.
there. That's dumb. I'd probably be like I don't know, like there's a part of me that would say anything that has an exploitable shortcut, kind of. Maybe, I don't know. The Zelda games. I'd pick a Zelda game to speedrun, probably.
A lot of
Breath of the Wild, 3 minutes.
And get the
Oh,
bomb
man.
glitch.
The bomb glitch.
So there's a. I'm not gonna explain this remotely, right? Because I've only have like a tangential. But there's a thing where you like pick up an object, and then through menuing you can drop the object, but you didn't drop the object. And if that's a bomb, it'll like go off and like launch you across the screen while you're still holding the bomb, and you like
Huh.
fly like so you can use it like to like basically fly across the continent.
Interesting.
I'm sure I did not remotely explain that correctly, and that's probably only like 20% accurate
Half
to what's
right or
actually
whatever.
going on, but like it's
Some
something
crazy
like
things.
that.
I don't know. I think I'd rather become a completionist than a speedrunner.
Yeah.
But I'll be
I'm not much
neither.
for either, given
Yeah.
that I've never gotten a platinum trophy in my entire life.
Not even
But I feel
Horizon?
like I'm working on Horizon. I'm super close. I have like 2 more trophies to get.
I was like, that's a pretty that was an easier platinum. That was my
Yeah.
first. No,
Yeah.
that was my second
Um,
platinum.
I'm working on it. It's just, of course, because
Leaving
I'm
you.
busy all the time. Like, I would have gotten it sooner, but I haven't. Anyway, I feel like being a completionist would be more satisfying than speedrunning. So,
Shanine, what do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I always say I'm gonna be a completionist, and then I finish the story, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. But I feel like I'd be equally as likely to become a speedrunner because I am real dang slow. So it'd have to be something very easy and very short, like I don't know, Luigi's Mansion or something like that.
one of
Coming
the
this
trophies is
Tuesday
sucking
to a
all the
stream near you.
wanted posters off the walls or whatever, you know.
Fastest speedrun of Luigi's Mansion, the original, is 55 minutes and 38 seconds. Set 2 months ago.
Brings us out of our discussion topics and into our announcements. Who's planning the stream this week?
Oh yeah, I will be streaming Spirit Fair tomorrow night.
Shane can
Are
have
we
all the
on a
streams.
boat?
I'm house sitting, so I won't be
Yes.
around too.
I will be around on Thursday to stream. Once again, don't know if it's going to be a Horizon or Subnautica. It will be Subnautica if I have substantially prepared ahead of time, because that is a game that requires me to prepare ahead of time, for obvious reasons if you know about the game. And then if it's not Subnautica, it's Horizon, because
Gotta get that platinum.
I'm trying to get that platinum essentially. So yay.
Do it.
And then I should be back
I
on
am doing
Sunday,
it.
either with more Pathfinder or Magic the Gathering. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. So, and then we are halfway through the month, which means
Woo!
we're getting close to book club on Binti. So everyone, hashtag Cameron, get reading. Even though it's a short book, don't wait till the week of to read
Or
it
do.
Wednesday night. So,
You do you,
do what
boo
you got to do. So it's on my nightstand and I have not opened it. So here we are. But that brings us into our top 3 list of the week. We are ranking our top 3 breakfast foods.
Why not?
Yes. As always, the first rule of top 3 is that there's no rules. So, like, you do you for whatever you have for breakfast.
Yeah, before we started, I said define breakfast food because I definitely don't eat most traditional breakfast foods.
Fair.
Anything's breakfast food if you eat it first thing in the morning. But Chris, kick us off.
My number 1 breakfast food is last night's dinner with an egg.
And then just put it on top.
Because that
I like
is
it.
the Filipino way. It's usually just fried rice and an egg. Yep.
Not
Take
gonna
last
lie,
night's rice and fry it up.
definitely Done that.
That's what Filipinos do.
Mhm.
And add an egg.
Hey, it makes sense, you know.
Add an egg. That's what makes it breakfast, the egg.
Yep.
Well, I should say, if you're hanging out with us in chat, feel free to drop your top 3 breakfast foods. We'll give you a shout out after we go through. So, Shanine, what about you?
Okay. I'm going to go with a full English. They're so tasty. They were maybe the best part of England.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought that was a full English, like, fill in the blank, and you were gonna say
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
So what
I was
is
thinking,
What
like,
is a
what-
full
what
English?
is a full
Full
English?
English. Oh
Toast?
man. Okay. So there is toast. There is
Beans? No, beans on toast?
there is beans. There are eggs. There are tomatoes, which I don't eat, but they exist.
And then the day of
Mushrooms, ham, sausage, blood sausage.
Sounds
that
sounds
does
like a
sound
hobbit
really good.
breakfast.
I
Is
think
pretty much
that
what you
was
just described to
everything.
me.
And then obviously English breakfast tea.
It's just a hobbit's first breakfast. Gotcha.
Yes.
Honestly, I would
Yes.
100% eat all of that. That sounds
It's so good. It's so good. Usually I end up eating like a half English, but that
I would
doesn't
say,
exist.
That
so.
seems like the kind of thing that you eat and then you don't do anything the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like, you just go straight into a food
Sounds like
coma.
a Sunday morning
It
breakfast,
is
essentially.
a lot of food, but it's so delicious. It's so good.
I approve. Where's the egg?
There's egg.
On your plate.
Oh,
No,
so
to be
you did
fair.
say egg. Okay.
I did.
I didn't hear egg. I was like,
It's part of the breakfast.
There's eggs.
how are eggs cooked normally for a full English?
I think you generally just get to pick like sunny side
You
up
still
or
pick.
over
Okay.
easy.
Right, or whatever, yeah.
I wasn't sure if there's a traditional way that the English specifically prepare.
I mean,
eggs.
I'm sure you'll be
Not
judged
English.
also.
I'm probably
So.
I'm probably gonna don't at me.
or do, so we can learn. I guess. How do you
At-
order your
at me
eggs?
nicely.
At me with love. Emma, what's your first pick?
I personally am a sucker for eggs Benedict. If you can pull it off with crab cakes, 10 out of 10. And good crab cakes. They have to be good crab cakes. But I'm a sucker in general for eggs Benedict. It is. I used to thought they looked disgusting as a kid, and then I tried one, and it was like the complete opposite of disgusting, and I loved it. And now that's like all I order when I go out to a restaurant that has eggs Benedict, and I just love it. Preferably
Eggs.
with if there's like, well, I call them JoJo's, but potato wedges instead of hash browns.
Eggs Benedict is how I judge your diner.
Yes, how
Like
good
I am
or bad
picky.
your eggs Benedict
Exactly.
is.
It's like
Yeah,
it's like it's such a staple. It's something you should do well. It
Yeah.
is easy to mess up though. Like especially the
Yes.
hollandaise sauce. So off. Number of times I've eaten curdled hollandaise sauce pisses me off.
awful.
But also when it's done well, worth it. I agree.
Mwah.
Good choice.
Sucker for a good eggs Benedict. It's got to be good though.
Hmm. But that's why it's like if it's a new place, I'm probably ordering eggs Benedict so I can judge you.
Yes.
Base
So
my
for-
I
entire
just like to
rating off
imagine
you.
the
It's like, oh,
the,
1-star rating.
the chef
Sorry.
sweating in the back
Good
whenever
enough.
they get an order for eggs Benedicts. They just sweat.
So for me,
Okay, Cameron,
I'm a
what's
huge
yours?
Southwestern omelet fan. That's my go-to of if I go to a new breakfast place. So omelet with onions, jalapenos. Typically, you get avocado, Monterey Jack or Colby Jack or something, cheese. Yeah, salsa on the side or on top. Like you do what you got to do, and even better if it has bacon.
I have a hard time with omelets. Ate too many of them in college.
Yep. Yep. Been there.
Way
Yeah.
too many omelets in college.
Shout
Carol
out to
has an
Oklahoma
omelet
Christian
bar in
Omelet
the
Bar.
mornings, and I had it way too often. So now I'm just like, eh.
Chris, back to you.
My second, I had to pick up breakfast cereal, and I'm going with Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs
Big
are
fan of
good.
Reese's Puffs.
So
Or
good.
even the cheap knockoffs are wonderful. More recently, I did have. There's like an online company called Magic Spoon. Granted, they don't
Oh,
make like the combination, but you can get the peanut butter and chocolate and mix them together yourself, and they're actually really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that peanut butter chocolate combination when it comes to a breakfast cereal, top notch. Also, perfect gamer feel. Just yeah.
Janine.
Okay. Waffles. Um, they're the best.
They're just pancakes with syrup holders.
Yeah. They're delicious. They're delicious with fruit. There's at least 2 movie quotes about waffles that I can think of, and 1 TV show.
Yep.
Who doesn't love waffles?
Why would anyone eat anything other than breakfast food?
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Waffles.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. For me, I'm going to get specific. My mom's homemade waffles. Because they're like no other waffle I've ever had. They are the best waffles on the planet. I agree with Janine, but I'm also going to get specific and say my mom's homemade waffles, which we have on Sundays. It's like a Sunday morning breakfast when mom makes waffles. So mom who listens occasionally, I love you and I love your waffles.
Shout out to Emma's mom.
Shout out to mom. I love your waffles. They're the best. They're nice and fluffy and golden brown. And I like to have them with yogurt and fruit sauce.
For mine, I'm gonna go basic, and I'm gonna say donuts. Like
What kind of donut?
Oh,
you have a
I
go-to?
hope you're ready for the answer to this question.
I am ready.
So the donut shop near our apartment has character donuts.
Ooh.
So there's like a Cookie Monster one, which is really good. But most importantly, they have a Pokeball donut.
What does that entail?
So it's really just icing. It's just marketing. But it's a donut with red icing on top, yellow icing on bottom, and then in the middle is a marshmallow. And it's amazing. They don't have it on DoorDash, and so I can't order it. I have to actually go in to get that donut. But whenever I go in, that's what I get. Also, shout out to Chocolate with Sprinkles. Movie MVP.
Donuts is just like one of those things I only eat because it's free in the office. And I always regret it
Fair
like
enough.
an hour and a half later.
I've never regretted donuts.
Just yeah. But yeah, I'm just not a big sweets person. Which is weird.
Chris, what kind of person are you with your third pick?
My third is just like this is my diner go-to. That has never been that usually it's hard to screw up. Chicken fried steak. Especially when you go to those diners that make it as big as freaking possible. And it's like they're kind of their thing. Here in Helena, we have a place called Shelley's. And it's our only 24/7 place anymore. And they have a holy cow chicken fried steak, which comes on its own plate. And then the other plate's just full of your traditional sides, your eggs and whatever. But yeah, just can never really go wrong with chicken fried steak to me. And yeah, like there is a good rating, but I think even the worst chicken fried steak is pretty decent.
I like it. Off the beaten path. Shanine, what's your last pick?
Okay. Straight back onto the beaten path with pancakes.
I do have to say, I really respect you for picking waffles and pancakes. Like you are the least partisan person. There's no sides of the aisle here. We're just all hanging out together.
Yeah,
We
I
got
don't see
waffles
why
and
we
pancakes.
have to pick. I mean, we can get specific and say my dad's homemade pancakes. His recipe is the best, and
Are they
Pancake.
sourdough pancakes?
no,
Then I'm judging.
how dare you?
All the judgment. All of it.
Several questions. Number one, how dare you?
Who do you think you are?
And I don't know, pancake breakfast was always like a big thing in our family. So, because usually we just like get up and eat breakfast on our own. But pancake breakfast, we all sat down to eat together.
Main thing I think of pancakes now are bacon pancakes, and that's because of
Bacon
wintertime.
pancakes.
Bacon,
Bacon pancakes.
Yep, that's
There's a bird on Twitter that
so now that's the only way I make
or on
pancakes.
TikTok who likes to sing the bacon pancake song. And I think of that bird now. Whatever. Hey, hear that?
Yep.
Line, film. It's very basic. And it's like my everyday go-to. It's vanilla yogurt with some blueberries specifically because I like no blueberries, and granola. Has to be the right kind of granola though. I don't like anything too sweet, but nothing too unsweet. So like there's like a company in an orange package with a bear on it. I don't remember the name. That has some really good stuff that I like. Basic, but I like it, and it's a good everyday breakfast. Gets the job done.
Blueberry parfait, gotcha.
Yes.
So I still have like four things on my list. So like here we are. I'm gonna go and be a good millennial and say avocado toast.
Mm.
You put avocado on anything, it basically improves it. And so you got toast, which is a thing, put avocado on it, 10 times better.
Throw a fried egg on top of that, and
Yeah.
you've got,
It's even better.
it's even
Right.
better.
We're taking the basicness of toast and improving it with all
That's
these
one
other
of my
really good
frequent
things.
go-tos, not gonna lie, is toast, avocados, and a fried egg on top. Ta-da!
Then you get to use the toast to soak up the egg. So good. But yeah, so that's mine. Avocado. It's amazing. Notice 2 out of my 3 things had avocado on them. I'll say donuts, probably the one thing that avocados don't improve because they're already the best. So
I can see it improving it. I'm just-
Done right.
it's like, and with that, so no one can argue with me. But that wraps up episode 193. Oh no, it does not. We have chat stuff. I almost forgot. Shout out to Avoided Ice, who says chai seed pudding, biscuits and jam, fruit smoothies. I'm a light breakfast, low carb kind of person.
and it's chia seed.
Chia, you are correct. I would like.
I was
to,
like, what?
I would like to submit a formal apology.
yeah. Please see point above for Wordle. I'm not good at words. And so I'm also a big fruit smoothie fan. So shout out to that. And then Chunk said home fries, eggs, and bacon. Great choice. Breakfast sandwich, and then honey bunches of oats.
It's a good cereal. It's a good go-to.
And Chunk also says that I haven't tried donuts and avocado, so how would I know? Touche. You win this round.
One thing I grew up eating is just like avocado sprinkled with sugar. So like sweetened avocado is a thing. So I have a feeling
Maybe I'm
avocado
wrong,
and
this will
donut
completely change my life.
could be a venture for sure.
For real this time, that will wrap up episode 193. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. We are First Geek 411. You can find us on our social medias. You can also join our Discord server if you want to chat between shows, or shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Got there. You can also check out our Redbubble store and watch live 6:45 Mountain Time on twitch.tv/1geek411. Find out the other 3 things on my list in the post-show chat. You can also find the videos over on YouTube. And then you can also rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Then you can find us on our personal social media. Mine's Humar Whittle.
And as I am not prepared with an eye on all platforms.
I'm the Hoot and Howl on Twitter and Hoot and Howl Tales, TALES on Instagram.
I'm not so foreign.
It's been a great week.
Wash them hands.
Read a book.